Welcome to the Junior Open Finals here at CUC 2012. This is Shar Singh, your host. We've got Jack McDonald who's going to be on camera, and David Aller, who's going to be running the production. I'm just getting him into the mix of things. We have a big production coming up tomorrow. I mean, we have 3 games back to back, and we have to make sure that we get those games out to you nice and fast, and make sure that we are basically in good shape for that. So MOFO will be wearing white for this game. MOFO from Winnipeg. They had a tough route here. We'll actually talk about how tough their route was in the interludes. We'll be talking about their record. We'll be talking about how well they're playing. And same for Hydro from Quebec. Tomorrow, the Hydro coach, Philippe, will actually be helping us during the broadcast. You should be able to hear in the background now both teams getting amped up. And Dave, as soon as he puts the headphones on completely, will be able to hear everything really well. Hope you don't mind, but we're having a lot of fun out here, and we hope you're having fun at home as well. We know our spectators are having a lot of fun here on the sidelines, and the teams are having a lot of fun. The atmosphere is amazing here. For nationals in Victoria and for juniors finals, it's just so much energy here. Sidelines are starting to get filled up. We're having more Quebec teams coming out to support their Quebec team. We're going to get the bronze games going on behind us right now, but then we are expecting many of the other players who are playing in the other divisions to actually start filtering over here as well. So we should get a pretty electric atmosphere. Now we've staked out a little space here for ourselves so I can get a good view, and we'll see what actually ends up happening. We expect these sidelines to be pretty packed. Now, we were chatting with some of the observers earlier, and they've told us that we should expect a pretty rough game here. That the juniors, Open juniors have been a little bit physical, but no foul calls. And it seems that they are learning quite well from the Open division in general, the Adults Open division. But I think my weekend was relatively contact-free. What about yours, Jack? No, apparently it appears not. He plays on Grand Trunk out of Toronto. I think Dave's weekend was relatively contact-free because he hasn't been playing competitive Ultimate now in a few years. But you'll be happy to know that almost everyone involved in the production of this broadcast, aside from my wife, who is not here, has actually played competitive Ultimate at some point in their career. However, I will eventually try to get her to play some Ultimate, but we're not going to go competitive Ultimate because she's got to teach the kids how to throw initially. All right, here we go. We're just waiting for the opening poll here. Observers, we've got 4 observers here. And they're looking at their clock going, where's the horn? Their watches. Certain language not being picked up by our microphones, thankfully. If you are watching at home, live.imultimate.com, please share that address with friends and family. Email us live@imultimate.com, or on Twitter, contact us at imultimate. We're always happy to hear from you. As James Maynard knows, we actually will move the camera around if you ask us to. Just pulling up the results page here to take a look at the records for these teams to get in. 4 observers for this final. Yes, it is a final, Jack. We need 4 observers. It is an important match. MOFO enjoying the sideline here. Very loose, the coaches. I think the players are pretty loose as well and having a lot of fun. Horn goes. First pull of the Open Final Juniors. Right by there. Break line. Oh, cuts are late. Not so happy about that, but there was a pick call, and that's a legit pick call. And that was a very late initial cut. We've got to see a little bit better from MOFO here. Shouldn't have to wait to say, here, let's go. But that's just opening nerves. With great movement initially. Strike coming in. Open in cuts coming. And we've got 3/4 cutters deep. And we're saying in. Both observers are calling it in. And a point. And a great huck there leads to the first point of the game there. Right targeted towards the corner. MOFO, after a little bit of trickiness, coming out with the first point. They had a little bit of interesting movement there. Very messy, but we'll see. We'll see where this goes from the opening point. Hydro had good pressure there on the D. They were taking away the ins. And it was the hander cut up the line that actually resulted in an issue. There's a bit of a divot in the ground as well that they want to now mark off with the disc. But the clock is running. And it looks like it's going to be a fast and furious game. At least I hope it is, right, Jack? Jack laughs over there. Dave, what do we think? Fast game? Yeah. Consensus, 3-3. We want a fast, hard game here. Hydro now pumping up. I hope you can hear it at home. Dave, do you think that, can you hear that? Oh yeah, he can hear that. Wide open, poached in the end zone. It's a Hydro player, but D was way off of him. Fantastic D, it appears that. And I think it looks like Jack thinks that it was a good D. But it's going to be going back. No use of observers there. Great spirit. Yet. And there comes the observers. I did speak too soon, Jack. I did speak too soon. However, that's all right. That was a close play. Very quiet here on the sideline. Smell of McDonald's wafting in the air. We have a mall right across the street where everyone's been going to get food here at the Lansdowne location. We do have 3 locations. St. Mike's, which is an amazing private school. Just fantastic fields over there. They mow the grass there every night. And also Topaz, which was a nice facility as well. Jack says, yeah, St. Mike's appears to be a boarding school. And certainly was very nice. They had a cricket pitch there. And they had batting cage practice for cricket. Amazing. So, just for your information, MOFO coming in 4th seed. And 3 coming in is Hydro. And what do the observers call there, Jack? What do the observers call? Foul stand. So he keeps a disc there on the in cut. So a lot of good pressure, though. We're seeing sideline's a little bit cloggy here. And messy. Oh, great IO huck. Flick huck. Should get to the end zone. And Hydro rushes the field. That was great pickup there. We had one handler go up line, bit of miscommunication, but 2 handlers fill in. Jack pointing out that the wind is dying out here. It is still a little bit light, but it has gone down considerably at this end of the field. And what are we looking at in terms of score? 1-all? Yes, it is Hydro that scored. A little bit weird that it's this early in the game. I've already lost track of what the score is, but that's typical of me. I'm interested in the play. And so far, the play has been great. Very exciting. So just looking at the records, and we'll continue looking at the records throughout the broadcast, but first off, thank you for joining us. Please tell your friends and family, live.imaltimate.com. It'll take you to a Facebook page. That's the Ultimate Canada Facebook page. That's how you know we're legit, that Ultimate Canada is carrying us, and we didn't just hack their website or Danny Saunders' email address or Facebook account. No, we are, in fact, an Ultimate Canada production here, which is why you'll hear me being very positive for a change. And pull goes OB a little bit, but that should only come back to the brick mark. Not that bad. A little bit early. Do you think the wind pushed that OB, Jack? A little bit. There's still a little bit gustiness, but if we look at the flag way off in the distance, it's pretty much limp. So we good conditions. And it's cool here as well this evening. No marks so far on the disc. There's they're basically playing a and now they're melting to man. They had basically played a deep poach junk. Player looked to be injured a little bit there, but with a pick, but he's right back up. Great to see him. Not injured. And great pressure marks there by Hydra, and that's a great D. That was a pressure mark that we were looking at as I was looking at as he was cutting downfield. So we're in great shape here. And everything's still looking hunky-dory, it appears on our broadcast. Looking up line here, he gets an easy upline cut. Hydro getting every cut they want right now, and great passes, but still need a break here. Oh, got a piece of that, and that's what they needed. There's a great poach D there, gets a piece of that on the upfield, and then a poach off in the end zone as well. Great D by MOFO. Still need movement here. Timeout called. Or what's the call? Is it 10? Turnover on stall down. Unfortunate. There was, again, MOFO's having a bit of issue just getting going off set plays or pickups. They had that on the... They had that again on the initial play off the mark. And wide open for Hydro. Break. I believe that makes it 2-1. Hydro with the first break of the game here. Now let's just take a look at what couple plays that Hydro had. You know, we don't have instant replays, so you'll just have to imagine or replay in your own mind for what you've seen. We had the initial first point of the game where MOFO set up in a split horizontal, in a horizontal stack. The disc was basically at the brick, and the handler had to verbally call for cuts to start. So there's a timing issue there. Now we had that again right now. We had a handler swirling back and forth as a dump, but the 5 in the stack were completely stationary until it was too late. So we need to ensure, or MOFO needs to ensure that they actually have improved that timing and tighten that up a little bit. And either that's a verbal cue that the sideline needs to give them, or the handler needs to give them earlier, or it needs to be an actual cue. That count also appeared to be a little bit fast, and that's a discussion that's here on the sideline, is that it was a very fast count. And a little bit of a question. Offside called. Okay, we don't know who got the offside warning there at this point. Any idea up there who got the offside warning? Okay, Dave's suggesting that it's down there. That might have been Linda calling that offside there. In fact, she is chatting with the Hydro players, so that might be the first warning to Hydro for offside. The first time I believe you get a warning. The second time it actually ends up being a charge for a timeout, and the third time, or if you're out of timeouts, then it goes to a specific position on the field as dictated by term. So we've just been told that if offense is offside, then they get in the middle of their end zone, and if defense is offside, then it gets in the middle of the break. Now these, we don't expect that'll happen. Offside is one of the interesting rules that is heavily enforced by observers, but very rarely used as a rule outside of play with observers. There's been a few times, I recall at WGC, and not WGC, but in Prague, that Sockeye had a player that was specifically set up for counting and making sure they didn't go offside. I guess they had some issues. MOFO with great movement here. Crossfield, we should see a point relatively soon. Hand block there. That was a hand block, correct? Hand block there by a Hydro player. Very close to the end zone. MOFO is going to need to turn it up a couple notches here right now. Get the D back, score it, because they are already down one break. Lots of time left in this game, though. Tons of time, so I'm not rather panicky or antsy. And I mean, what we saw 2 weeks ago at No Borders when, what was it, Ulysses went up 3-zip and then Phoenix came back. I mean, there's no reason to suspect that this game is, or the breaks are anywhere close to going to affect this game at this point. But a pick called, or a foul. Foul called. Sideline here, great. Relaying calls to me. We're also seeing some strike players coming out to help us out. Great layout pressure there from Hydro. MOFO punches it in. It's not a clean entry into that end zone, though. But you take anything you can get. And MOFO makes sure that Hydro doesn't break them again.
Hey, let's go, D-line! Let's go, MOFO!
So we just been handed a note, and we will discuss what that note is during halftime. But something very interesting. And we thank the, I guess, one of the players' moms from MOFO for letting us know about that. Just great having a lot of support here. Loud sidelines. Is that 2 fields over that the women's bronze medal match is going on, Jack? Possibly. It kind of looks like it. So lots of medal matches going on right now.
MOFO, back up! MOFO, back up!
Bit of discussion right now. I'm going to try not to just speak continually throughout the stream so that you can also enjoy the action without my voice, which is about to start breaking, interfering in your enjoyment. Great pressure right now from MOFO and a pick. I don't think we're going to see anyone wide open without serious defensive errors in this game, at least at this point. Fitness is not an issue right now. But a little bit there, that's a little bit of lazy defense. Great recovery. But cuts have kind of stopped a little bit. Oh, a bit of a call there. No, observers there calling them in or out. Something going on. Dropped. Sideline being blocked here by some general strike players. General strike, I believe, in the finals, the open finals. Looking for the huck. And unfortunate, this is set plays not working for MOFO. Hyder just shutting them down everywhere. Diskin, and he's looped up and over. And great poach D there. And player goes down. That is going to be a stoppage of play. That was a little bit of a frightful collision. The Winnipeg player did protect himself on that, did see that coming, and it appears Hydro player might have as well. So hopefully the injury isn't as bad. So what would happen without them anticipating it? Player is up. They will be subbing him. He's walking off under his own power. Always nice to see. So MOFO coming in as 4th seed to this tournament, playing in Pool A with BC Blaze, Mischief, Capital Punishment, Outlaw, and Valley Boys. Pool B, Misfits, Hydro, Overdrive, Vortex, Atomic, and Rolling Thunder. We'll give you the overall games and everything like that in our next little stoppage of play. Hydro player just taking a rest now. He's just massaging his, just above his knee. Another pick call. We're going to see this one. It's going to be close. And a drop pick is irrelevant. Great pressure there on the disc. Easy under there. And a big shot fired up. This should be contested. A huge grab over top. We're going to see if they can make this convert. There's a lot of, and a timeout called. It's going to be a high stall timeout. So during this timeout, let's discuss MOFO. MOFO dominated, coming in as the 2nd seed in their pool, or 4th seed overall. They played Valley Boys, defeated them 15-2. They also played against BC Blaze. That was the A1, A2 matchup. BC Blaze, the 1st seed, and defeated BC Blaze 12-5, which is a big win, but also points to a lot of long points. Then they beat Mischief in their closest 4-5 matchup, 15-6. That was all on Thursday. On Hydro, Hydro came in as 2nd in their pool as well. Misfits number 1 in their pool. But Hydro defeated Rolling Thunder 15-2, and then also upset Misfits 15-5. And then finally beat Overdrive 15-6 on day 1 of competition. On day 2, MOFO kept rolling 15-7 against Outlaw, and then beat Capital Punishment 15-1, whereas Hydro had a 15-1 win versus Atomic, which was the 10th seed coming in the tournament, and then beat Vortex 15-4. That rounded out pool play. After the re-rank, MOFO went in 1st seed in Pool C, and Hydro went in 1st seed into Pool D, to the power pool play. A little bit of a foul now as this play restarts here. And a break pass just zipped in. It takes a great point there. That makes it 3-2, I believe. Hydro did get that point. 3-2 here for the first half. It's a little bit of outage, and I seem to be getting a little bit tired as well here. So much to talk about. I think that's the biggest issue. There's just a lot to talk about. It's been a good, long, hard few days of Ultimate. And the sidelines getting nice and crowded. Sidelines getting pumped up here and continue to get pumped up. Lots of teams still playing. We're going to try and bring you results as we can. The Open Finals, which are first thing tomorrow morning, will have Furious George playing General Strike, which is going to be probably the most intense game or best match game, I believe, of these finals. General Strike, well, I had the opportunity to play against both these teams, once in power pool play and also in pool play. Furious played them in pool play. But let's just discuss Hydro's zone here. It is actually a little bit of a junk zone. They have been switching players off. And a little bit of a slow recovery there and slowing down and not going towards the disc led to a few slow options. Layout bid there by Hydro player, but great to see. Tie game, 3-3. So the Hydro defense, they relied quite a bit on switch. In fact, they want MOFO to huck it. They want them to huck it because they had a player closing in on them quite quickly.
Come, MOFO!
Anyone steps on the line?
Let's hope the live stream is still going. I believe, Dave, you did a quick test there on your iPhone and it was working. So happy to be able to bring you further and further back. Sidelines now being cleared. Spectators being cleared off the line. And spectators are supposed to be back 3 meters, which moves them into my dedicated zone. But this is becoming important, and it's great to see. Great to see the spirit there. General Strike out supporting their team. Mephisto out supporting, as well as the other Quebec teams coming out. Zone coming in. And a great side poach. Now let's see if MOFO can convert this, because this is a break, but an injury. MOFO player, he had laid out earlier and missed that, and then didn't quite get back up quickly and didn't call injury right away. Hydro as well, switching a player on. This is going to be a strong D line from Hydro now, especially with a switch. Well, I've been told I don't know these MOFO guys. If they play anything like the General Strike guys, then we should get a point here. However, these MOFO guys do appear to have a lot of attitude. Great strong cuts there. But this is, again, it's a little bit of movement, an uncontested foul. Observers don't really need to get involved there. And MOFO gets the break back. 4-3. The score should now stand. Wind is picking up, isn't it, Jack? Jack, you getting some wind up there? A little bit. It has picked up, and the wind appears to be coming from the west, and strong from the west now. And timeout called. Not quite sure who called the timeout there, but White called it. So MOFO has called a timeout. Is that their second? No, it's their first. Both Hydro called one earlier, and now MOFO has also called one. Well, I think they need to adjust a number of things. And that's probably the biggest reason for it. If you also look out there, Hydro's been playing some great D. And MOFO has been playing some good D as well. But MOFO's offense has been struggling significantly more than Hydro's offense. And I think that's actually been the major difference at this point. Now we don't actually have all the scores necessarily, but going into Friday, the championship bracket had MOFO playing Misfits and beat them 14-7. Then they played Overdrive just in the game before this, and obviously they won that one. We don't have a score on that one yet. Hydro played Mischief, defeated them 15-6, then defeated BC Blaze in order to make the finals here. So both of these teams undefeated so far in the tournament, which is great consistency in the juniors division, open juniors division. Weather getting a little bit cooler here. This is may cause some issues. So Dave tells me he's got his winter jacket on, which is it's a little bit funny. Okay, Jack tells me the temperature is presently 21 Celsius here. Dave's got his winter jacket on. He comes from he's been living on the island, so he's wearing this thin little thing that we tend to wear, you know, in Waterloo much of the year, considering how cold it is there. Hammer goes over the top, and a drop by Hydro there. That zone for MOFO has created turns 2 points in a row. That was an error there, I believe. That drop. That's a little bit of, yeah, as Dave said, Jet ID, but I think more just was thinking about the next pass before it actually happened. Oh, and then too many stutter steps there. Gets it there. This should be contested. Lots of guys there underneath, but the D that had poached off left a guy wide open in the back. MOFO now with a break. Mark Lloyd raises his arms up in the air. Some of the other U Manitoba players here also laughing it up on the sideline. Hydro now needs to adjust. Needs a little bit of confidence against that zone. Way too early to say this is anyone's game at this point. MOFO definitely the cockier of the two teams. I believe that's the best. That is the only word I could possibly use in this situation. But Hydro going out with a strong set. 3 neon hats there. Now those neon hats, if you've seen them in the past, those are usually the Onyx hats. And anyone who's played on Onyx or supported them, I guess to some degree, has those hats. They can also be Quebec Ultimate hats. So we definitely know that what sort of pedigree these players come from, and it's a damn good one, pardon my language. Sidelines now starting to fill up. Lots of spectators. Pull goes OB. Compared to the Hydro line, a much shorter MOFO line has now come out. Observers continue to clear off the line now. They could start to actually give out TMFs and penalties. Goat got one last year, or was it Furious, during the open finals that did actually affect and lead to a point as a result. So it can be it's definitely something that the coaches and players need to be cognizant of. A little bit of a physical game now we're getting there, but great scoobers over the top. It's a lot of confidence and a great recovery there. That just happened in front of us. Travel called. Travel called, not contested there. Linda has actually threatened for TMFs there, so the observers are getting serious about clearing the lines, and as they should be. This is an important final. Players should know to stay back from the lines. Luckily, we as officials, quote unquote, are able to actually get close to the action as well. Great break through their zone there. Now they need to move quickly here, which they're not doing. We've got 2 deeps hanging out on the fourth side. There's no one on the break side at this point over top. One player now has moved to split, but the mid left has dropped back there. Hydro just cannot move this through the middle there. And there's Cunningham is starting to slow up there, but so is the defense. And a great float out. An out called, but it goes to the observers. It does, and it's not out. Yep, observers get the actual say on ins and outs in this match. And a D, is there going to be a call? There is a call on the play. That is an expected call. That was very close. Spirits high on the sideline here for MOFO. If Hydro gets his point, they'll be right back in it as well. But if they don't, this could be actually a major blow for them early in the game. It'll be interesting to see how well they can recover from that. A little bit of a discussion there. We don't quite hear. We will try to, in future years, get an actual microphone closer, or some sort of parabolic mic directly on the discussions the observers are happening, so we can listen into them. Even if they don't want us to hear what's going on, then we'll be able to bring that to you. I think Dave would actually be rather excited by that. Jack pointing to the skies. Yes. Way to point that out, Jack. It is raining a little bit, or drizzling here. Do you need an umbrella up there? No, I think we're still in pretty good shape. Just a little bit of drizzle. Not even that. Just a few drops from the sky. I'm sure we'll see it coming. So they send the disc back. A little bit more. Just drops. And it was a turn there. Unfortunate dump. MOFO going to be looking deep. They've got a player wide open deep. Disc space or foul or something, and then stoppage, and they keep going in another stoppage. I guess that's the best way to put that. You're gonna need the umbrella? Okay. I'm just gonna pause my commentary just for a minute while we adjust, because it's actually a little bit of rain that's just hit us. And good layout bid, but the disc just actually popped out. Z's already gotten one turn. Let's see if they can get it again. Hunter with great play now, moving behind the line. We have a lot of spectators here that are actually interfering in the play and not allowing the players to run up and down the line. Observers will likely come in and move them sooner or later, though. Great break across. Hydro scores that point, maintains, does not get the break. Scores now 5-4. So I'm just going to be helping Jack here a little bit. So you adjust with this part and then clip it on, and it's already there, and you screw it into that.
You can live with them getting the swing, right?
All right, sidelines have gotten a little bit quieter here for both sides.
Was it a black pinstripe hat you got, not a white one?
And of course, not the same energy that there was before from either side. I've been told it's because it's raining, but I'm out here in the rain. Danny Saunders is out in the rain, and Danny Saunders can't actually sit. Danny Saunders, previously from Winnipeg, but his voice is gone because he's been coaching Sky Sharks, I believe, from Victoria, the mixed team, all weekend. Has been telling me someone's got to be the bad guy, and he's been the bad guy for that team. That, of course, means that someone's got to make the difficult call. Someone's got to tell them when they have a bad throw, that they're not playing well, that they need to adjust. It's very important to be able to take criticism and for a coach to be able to give it. And a foul, and it's not contested. It's a little bit of incidental contact on that, but just wasn't actually touched at that point. I'm going to get out of the way here for Jack because I think I might have been in that shot. Low throw. Great sliding grab there to maintain control and make sure that that grab was fully contained. Some sort of call right now in the play. Foul called. Ken on the far side as the observer, letting us know very quickly what's going on. Highly experienced observer.
Go, MOFO!
Hydro playing great D as well right now, causing these pressure throws and crazy break throws to come out. These throws have to be perfect, and that's what's happened. MOFO with a point.
Let's go, MOFO!
Makes the score 6-4 for MOFO. MOFO now rolling again, but Hydro needs to adjust.
I don't know. Who threw that one?
Lots of people still standing under our tent during this light drizzle, but it appears coaches melt easily. So we don't know what all is up in the rest of the finals later today, but we'll get those details. And we know Overdrive will be one of the finalists. I've been told someone is the other finalist, but I think that's not actually their name. I believe it's just Lady Man. I'm not sure. I'll check on here. They should update that shortly. My conversation there was with Jack, the cameraman here. David Hadaller, producer right now, on the machine, updating the scores for us. Me, Tashar Singh, commentating. Normally, Rose would be the one, my wife, that would actually be doing all the scores and updating. It's an interesting atmosphere here on the sideline. Every time the disc goes up, MOFO actually there are now warnings about to be given out.
All you guys, let's go! No breaks, Ryan, no breaks!
There are players and coaches that are getting rather close to the line, and yeah, we talked about those defensive errors. Jack's just pointing those out. There are going to be errors by both sides. And I think part of that might have been they were running towards the disc and there was a stoppage, so I think he stopped. It might have not have been a poach at that point, but just catching up. Great layout grab there by MOFO. No calls on that play. Point called by the observers. 7-4, I believe the score now should be for MOFO. That's another break. They're rolling, Jack. They're rolling. This is not as close a final as, or it's a little bit wider than I expected it to be. This is interesting. I think the observers are now chatting amongst themselves. There might be some TMF starting to be given out pretty soon for sideline encroachment. I wonder if I'll get a TMF if I get too close to the sideline. I've been asked to try it, but I will not, because if I were to, then MOFO would get that. Yeah, it's totally worth it, they're being told. All right. Oh. Both teams now getting hyped up. Hydro and MOFO amped up. I don't know if you can hear that at home on the live stream.
Behind that disc, guy.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Out in the background, you can see Team Ponchos.
Let's
They must be Vancouver players. It's loud here on the sideline. Every time the disc or MOFO pulls it, there's a loud Mo goes up, and then when it comes down, a faux, and then 3 claps. If you're on Facebook, you can also find lots of details about our upcoming streams and our ones from the past. Great pressure there, but that overcommit basically granted about 20 yards. Oh, great break again. And a little bit in the air, but a fantastic vertical. Grabbed it exactly the right time, as early as he could. We're now looking at a score of 7-5, I believe. Dave tells me that is the case. I'm glad someone's keeping me on point, because it's an exciting game right now. We're going to have a game 2:15 here. MOFO wants to take this to half. They can just roll right through. Regardless, I know that it's going to be a good, close game. I hope it's going to be a good, close game. I think we're all hoping it's going to be a good, close game. But it's moving along rather quickly. We started this game about 43 minutes ago, and that's a pretty good timing. Rain has now stopped here, and weather's still looking pretty good.
Let's go, MOFO!
Hydro's still getting the sidelines amped up. These teams all seem to have a whole bunch of different cheers. It's pretty interesting. I wonder if they actually spend it. But, you know, to look at it, Furious also has a whole bunch of different cheers. Jack makes a comment that I cannot put on the air. Mostly because we're an Ultimate Canada stream. Were we not an Ultimate Canada stream, I would totally make that comment on the air. So I hope you join us for our future streams, which tend to be a little bit more mischievous. I'll just say it that way. We're having a great time here. And event facility, fantastic. We're also going to try to bring you details from the other finals. The Masters final is also going to be starting soon. I think Nomads has made that final. If they have, that will be the last game they shall be playing as Nomads. At least that's what they say. But that'll be the end of their tribe. Great movement by MOFO right now, but in a bit of static position right now. And he needs to take the early dump. He needs to move the disc out quickly. And there's a lot of anticipation, but the inside poach definitely going to be hurting them. Moves it back middle of the field. Oh, through traffic. That's riskier pass, especially because it can lead to some picks. And then just a throwaway. That's painful. I think we've all thrown those though. When we anticipate the player's going to cut out and we just overthrow them for some reason, or it doesn't curl back up enough. No wind right now to speak of. Jack had a higher point than all of us, so he's giving us the lowdown on the wind. We're constantly looking around to see what's up. Pick has been called. Everyone's behaving themselves right now on the sideline, which is nice to see. Because when Linda gets mad, she gets really mad. Linda giving us a bit of a smile there. Linda Kudo and I go way back. She's doing a great job here, as with the other observers.
It's under.
Oh, great outreach there. Pressure again, but not that great. Just a disc.
Bailey, you're last.
Coming out easily and looking deep, but no deep options really available. The in-cut's available all day though. Sidelines now shifting right past us here as they anticipate the play moving further down the field. Brendan there moves the disc out now. Looking for a dump, not available yet, but now available going up line. This is going to cause issues. Fortunately, the defender was a little bit distracted, but we have a drop here. It's unfortunate. With a shot. Timeout called. Great call here, using the second timeout that they had of the half. And we are now into a little bit of a break. We're interesting finals so far. Both teams have had their issues with movement. Both teams starting to look a little bit gassed, so this is a bit of a breather. Now we've seen that MOFO has difficulty coming out against Hydro with their set plays. Their plays start moving late, so they'll have to work on their cues. We'll see if they've worked on those and improved that at this point. Sidelines are a little bit packed. Jack's taking a quick little break, so we're not going to be able to pan the sidelines, but who can blame him? He's been working hard. We know you've been working hard as well, so thank you for joining us on this Saturday afternoon here in Victoria and Saturday evening elsewhere in Canada. And if you're joining us from even further abroad, thank you for joining us. If you're a TC junior overseas right now, especially thank you for joining us. And congratulations, both you guys and ladies. You played really hard and we're proud of you. Anyone playing for Team Canada, always know you're always supported. And we absolutely look forward to sending you again to the next finals. We've got U23 next year in Toronto.
Let's go, MOFO!
Should be pretty exciting. You'll see many of these players there. Some very talented players here, and we hope they'll keep playing for quite some time. And a foul has been called. This one is going to go to the observers. Ken's coming in. A lot of different angles on this. We had two observers very close to that, and they're going to send it back. They're going to send it back. Sideline booing from that side. Completely legitimate. As a spectator, you should be able to do pretty much what you want to do as long as you aren't actively involved in the game. So coming in, I believe stall 5 is the count. Just stopping the play there just to clarify a few options. Sidelines here, anticipating what's going on, but a little bit quiet again. They don't think the play has run quite as MOFO wanted to coming out of the timeout. Now this is your second, because you had another one already. You guys have taken. Jack, this is our second time out, right? All right, we're not sure. It doesn't really matter. We're not in the game, but there's a little bit of discussion right now. Linda has told both teams that it's 1-on-1 timeouts right now. They're going to confirm with the other teams what actually is going on. Interesting game. Disc is coming back after discussion. The observer's called. It is a turn. There's a bit of a longer discussion there, but the observers, in case you don't know the process, the observer doesn't come in and just say this is the call. They have a discussion. They ask the actual players, what do you believe or what has actually been called, and then work through them with that, because it's considered to be player initiated. It's not observer initiated. That's at least the discussion that I've had earlier. Big Huck goes up. Defense is also closed, but there's a good box out there. And a great grab. We've seen that player repeatedly get big hops and a break. So the O-line is going right back out. So 7-6. I think there's a... No, if you can't see it on that screen. No. Yeah. So exactly what you see on that screen up there, Jack, is what is going on. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, just having a bit of discussion if you're watching live stream. A lot of people here working hard to bring this to you. Thanks to the CUC 2012 organizing committee here in the tournament. They've set up scaffolding for us, given us tents, power cables. People have gone home and gotten power cables for us. It's just a little bit much for us to be bringing that stuff right now on no budget, so to speak, from across the country. But lots of help here for everyone and from everyone.
Donovan, no post. Man to man, tout le monde. Let's go, MOFO! Hey, come on, Hugo, come on!
Idro also does that same cheer, but starts with D when the pull goes up. When it lands, goes Dro. Great poach D there. And an injury in the middle of the field right now. So there will be a no turn, and that player will... So it depends on when that injury actually happened, but it appears to be that since the player stayed down,
I'm so sorry, Mark.
there will not be a turn, and the disc will come back, and they will keep possession. And that will be the discussion that's happening right now. If he doesn't leave the field, well, we'll see what actually happens. He's not leaving the field, so that is a turn or a stop. We're going to find out a bit more what's actually happening. Okay, it appears that that is a turnover. Okay, disc is in. Great spirit there. He could have easily just taken an injury. And the play would have stopped, but fantastic to see that. Big hut going up to no one really there. And some complaints of who's he throwing it to, but can't really fault the thrower there, especially when the handler had made a cut. And given that so much can happen once the disc goes up. Great plays by Hydro here going to the ground, but we have two defenders underneath. Big grab there. And we're at 7s. Is there some call? There is some sort of call. Okay, 7-6 still happening. All the observers have got him. Thank you for that pointer, Dave. Got a large contingent of General Strike here with us. We are absolutely going to refuse to get any comment from them. No, we'll see if we can actually chat with some of them later. And there's, yes, MOFO jerseys on. A lot of supporters here, I think, overall, for the actual program. Lots of parents out. And I think the whole program works quite hard on both sides. So there's a discussion between 4 players right now in a very complicated situation. And a lot of messiness. No foul is the actual call. And it's 7s now. Whoever gets this point gets half. As Jack said, the exact same thing I said, but in a different way. Yes, if anyone gets this point, it's half. So here we go, 7s. Both teams quickly regrouping. Both teams actually had quite a few chances on that, so it'll be interesting to see what the strategy change is going to be. Who has momentum now? At this point, I would chat with someone else to ask, who do you think has momentum? So I'm going to ask my members of my team. Jack, who do you think has momentum? Hydro is who he says. And Dave, who do you think has momentum? Well, now we should ask her. All right, so it might be a mental game right now. Jack says that it's MOFO might be angry enough that they don't have momentum right now, but if they can get out of their heads, then it can certainly be the case. And I agree with Jack's assessment there, which you didn't hear, but I will tell you now. It depends on how they use their energy, and that's going to be very important. But we must remember these players have quite a ways to go. But we must also recognize that the Winnipeg program and every program takes juniors exactly like this and puts them into their elite program. Mark Lloyd played on the juniors team, and when he was 16 was pulled into the General Strike program. And as a hyper-talented player, who knows how much that actually helped him. If you leave a player in the juniors program too long, they might just languish. So you need to put them on a team where they can get better. Great pull by Hydro. And it comes out of the stack at a jog. Works well. Big huck, but not that clean. Again, a gigantic vertical. This guy is getting everything on O and on D. Great to see. Players getting a bit too excited now, but the Hydro actually cleaning up their line. Pick called on that. And a great breakout. You're going to see it's now to the far side of the field. And a big huck goes up, but there's two there. And great pressure coming from behind. Great field awareness for the defender to come out. He was boxed out, but he was also being pushed away actively, and that caused enough of a disturbance for the disc just to pop out. Cuts are not coming as hard from MOFO, and timing is a little bit off, it feels like. However, the handlers are doing well. And once again, we've got a striker, but probably great movement by MOFO here. It's chilly right now. Foul called. That should kill the play. It's coming back at 1 or 0. Move back to the middle. There's a break. There should be plenty of continuation. It's getting a little bit crowded now. The vertical is not being set up, but it's formed up now. But the cuts just aren't that hard. A great bid there. As number 22 is the same player that actually got the D earlier from coming from behind in the end zone. Another great break. Observers are saying it's in. Point taken. MOFO takes half 8-7. Way to be chilly there to bring it back. They had given up quite a few points in a row. This is a close game. It pulled out a little bit, and now we're right back equal going into half. Right? So Hydro will receive the disc in the next half. Should be very interesting overall to see what's going on. So going into halftime now, we always like to thank our sponsors. And in this case, our sponsors for the tournament, VC Ultimate, Q Energy, Caribou, and Discraft. So I'd like to thank each one of these sponsors on behalf of the tournament and Ultimate Canada's on behalf of the tournament for basically ensuring and helping out in enormous ways. This is also an Ultimate Canada event. Should point out that all of this is possible. We are quite united under this Ultimate Canada organization. We also, I believe, are a national sporting organization officially recognized by Sport Canada now, so great job. And Danny Saunders has been heavily involved in that, as well as numerous other people within our organization. At this point, I'd like to thank myself. I'm Ultimate. More, actually, I'd like to thank Jack and Dave for helping out right now. It'd be a lot harder for me to be up on the scaffolding and then jumping up and down every time I wanted to change the scores, or anything along that line. So it's great to have you guys here and helping. And if you haven't heard about our contest, we're having a contest where you can win a deck of Ulti cards. So visit contest.imultimate.com. And there's also a quick bit of information on what those cards actually are.
When I first met my father, I didn't have a clue. The first words that he told me were the last ones that were true. He said this desert's made for walking, and there's nothing you can do except go on.
So thank you for Ulti Cards for sponsoring that contest. So if you go to contest.imultimate.com, you do have a chance to win a deck of Ulti Cards. Just simply predict the winners for the finals tomorrow. And also, in case of ties, take a guess at the scores. What do you think the scores will be? And if there's even a tie, first person to get in will get the deck. So thank you to Ulti Cards for that. Now, if you haven't used Ulti Cards before, it's a great training tool. Really helps to visualize and specify exactly what we're actually after. So just a quick little bit of thing as we come out of half here. Jack, if you could actually point the camera over there to that far end zone. What you're going to see over there is a whole bunch of flags in a backyard. That house over there here at Lansdowne Park or High School has actually put up all the provincial flags in honor of our tournament here. They've been enjoying the tournament here with us, and it's great to have the local support for such an event. You know, City of Victoria. We've also had, I believe, Strathcona Hotel. They've been our social center there at the Sticky Wicket, as well as the terrace upstairs and a number of other locations. So we've had a great amount of support here, and that's always useful when running an event of this size. Oh, unfortunately, a break there was a bit too low. Didn't bounce back up. I believe I threw one of those. I don't remember last time I threw one of those, but I've thrown one of those before, Dave. Yeah. I had at least one or two. And a great break flick. And MOFO takes the first break out of half. Big smiles. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what they are. I'll have to check up on that. Jack and I just having a little bit of conversation about some shorts that are present elsewhere, but we'll come back to that conversation later. Once again, thank you for joining us here. If you are interested in more details, please be sure to visit live.imultimate.com. You'll get the schedule for the other games. We have the junior women's coming up next. It's overcast now, which is nice, which is fantastic given the heat that we had earlier. Also means that we're just not sweltering out here right now. Neither are these players. So water loss shouldn't be much of an issue. Long way left in this game right now. Long way. We've got at least, actually, how much time do we probably have left? Time might become a factor in this game as well. And I think that's what the case is right now, but it's still a very close game. Zone going out. MOFO with a big zone now and a tall, deep back. Hyder, though, very confident, very good with the disc. I mean, we've seen them to be superb handlers so far today, and they're just slicing through the middle. Is foul called, and a little bit of laughter from the player when he can't quite believe that you know, that he was the one that was actually fouled or caused the foul. And the coach just clearing it up from the sideline, just making sure everyone's calm. Just great to see. Great movement. You can see all this kind of stuff happening here near the sideline. And then just a little bit of overextension. The speed just dropping off a little bit. You have to remember these players, these guys are a little bit smaller than us old timers, which means they don't carry as much energy as we do. Oh, big bid there. And almost paid off there. Just fired there, wide open the end zone. Defensive error, no call, and frustration from some of the Hydro players. MOFO rushing the field, second break coming right out of half. There's timeout called by Hydro. It's going to be settling the team down. MOFO getting super excited. And they have to maintain that energy. Score is now 10-7. Super exciting. And Dave, I didn't even have to tell him, but he figured out all the half stuff and everything like that. It appears my user interface for the scoreboard app is flawless, as in his words. I think he's just very intelligent. Firebird player Hagen wandering sideline. He's no longer a Firebird player. He's a capital punishment coach, which is great to hear because he does work with youth in Ottawa, so he's using his experience there to actually help Ultimate. Yeah. You're welcome, Megan. We got lots of great Ultimate players here on the sidelines, lots of great Ultimate players on the field, and a lot of support overall here during this break. Which is great to have at an event like this. I've said great quite a few times. Big shout out to Rose Singh for her not being here. She is watching the stream from home though, which means that she is online. We had the internet die at home, which meant that it was much more difficult to actually set all of this up before the actual day. But great to have at least my wife watching the stream, so we have at least one viewer. Now we're actually having quite a few more pop on. If you are actually watching, please be sure to reach out to us live at iamultimate.com or on Twitter, iamultimate. We are going to be streaming tomorrow as well. Once again, a zone for MOFO. It has played dividends before, but the disc just not as precise as we expect it to be. A little bit frenetic is the actual pace. I'd like to warn the Hydro players that they're a little close to the line, and Linda is watching and might be a little bit angry. But I think she is probably getting angry for all the players that are really close to the line. But I've done about the best I can by walking up right behind them and telling them that's the case. These hammers are working extremely well for Hydro. And there's now melted to man. I really like the way that these Onyx handlers are working themselves. So in case you didn't hear Dave there, I really should get him a headset. But he has, there's a question posed from the sideline as to what will happen to this stream afterwards. But let's first watch this play. A bit of a rush throw there, unfortunate, but it does tend to happen. It was a bit loopy and a bit high, but it was the right idea. That appeared to be the player that tripped. and just protected himself as he went in. So what will happen to the stream afterwards? Well, I plan on, well, first let me actually make sure it's recording. That's going to be our first step. And it appears to be recording, which is happy. We will actually do a quick check after this final during our break to make sure it has recorded. And if it has recorded, then we will make it available on YouTube or somewhere else. So it will be available afterwards. So you'll be able to point out all my flaws in my commentary after the fact. Big huck there. It's close to the back of the end zone. It's grabbed. Observers calling it in. Both observers are calling in. And there's an appeal to the actual observers. We must remember, observers are human, but there are 2 observers actually calling. Linda is insisting on it being in. And we have a point by Idro. That's their first point in their second half, correct? All right. Dave has told me that is correct. It's their first point in the second half. So let's look at actually what's happened here is that Hydro's zone offense isn't that great, or it just could be not that great against MOFO's zone. MOFO's zone has produced several turns. We've seen a lot of discs going to ground there or being very closely grabbed. Yeah, and that's very true. Is Jack just pointed out is that there's been a lot of handle movement by the Hydro players, and that's actually Quebec form, as he said, and that's true. We do see a lot of handler movement there. I think that also comes out of their 4-on-4, is that they've been doing a lot of that 4-on-4 system or 4-on-4 tournament season. And of course, if you have fewer players, that emphasizes greater movement. And so it becomes a kind of natural for those players to come out and play in that fashion. What might just be getting to them, though, is the pace. They might be getting a bit tired. Now, Linda pointing out that because this is the finals, the horns do not apply to this game. So this game goes to 15. It's a 2-hour game, sorry. So they have a bit more time, but they're still capped. I don't know what, actually. We'll find out the rules. They are important, and we'll find out the rules. Sideline's getting louder and more active here. Energy still high, and as it should be. This is a finals match. Gold medal on the line here. Brick called. Ken on the far side just calling that. There's man defense set up here. MOFO's not quite in a straight horizontal. They've got, and then a quick switch and a poach player. So pick called. So I was talking about something before, but I've forgotten what I was talking about, so I'm just going to abandon that thought right now. Oh, it's the zone. And Quebec has struggled against MOFO's zone. It might have just been the pace. But a foul is called here again. The game's getting a little bit physical now. Okay, so apparently the player just might have just hit him with a disc. Coming in at stall 6. Big huck. Oh, and it's at stall 6. He had plenty of time for that and just goinked it. I guess, is goink a word? It is now, Dave tells me. Hydro now going out on offense. Chance to get a break here again, and then we'll have, we have tied it, no, we'll have 10-9 then. No striker off that play. They're looking for that mid movement again. We've got handlers just piling up. Oh, and just needed a bit more pressure. Stall down called. And is he contesting that? They're going to the observer. And it is a stall down. Most calls in this game. I think MOFO has the believes that they have gone against them. I haven't been keeping track. Yes, the spectators supporting MOFO believe that the calls have gone against them mostly in this game. So the disc is down. Now because the observers are all in front of us, I'm going to get right on the sideline so I can see this play better. And then I'm going to rush back away from the field. You can go closer. Break play. And MOFO maintains serve, or maintains the point. Jack believes that was a little squeaky close. It was squeaky close. It's his favorite type of break, Jack says. Here we go. It's 11-8, I believe. All right, 11-8. Dave, what's the second half look like in terms of score?
Way to go, guys!
So MOFO's led the second half 3-1. Next time out, I'm definitely miking up Dave. I'm going to get Dave on mic here for the second match at the very least. I think we have a good bit of banter going on, and that's what the stream needs. We do have a third mic to get Jack involved. No, I actually have another headset up there. So we could get 3 commentators, but that might just be a bit much for you at home. However, please be sure to let us know your thoughts. I'm panicking a little bit right now because there's a dog standing on my Ethernet cable, and I'm kidding, Dave. So we just want to make sure that the stream keeps getting out to you. Tournament directors have provided a fantastic internet connection for us here. Big pole goes up by MOFO. Thank you, Dave. This microphone should pick up quite a bit of the noise from the actual field. Yeah. So the way that Hydro's been beating this zone has been with those scoopers over the top, and that's been a great adjustment. Oh my goodness, but they can't seem to hang on to the disc, and this is it's hurting me right now to see that happen because they're such a good team and they move the disc so well. And a huck goes up again, and this is also a little bit painful to watch. Is that there's been, and that is a point, but those huck plays have not worked for them in the past, but it seems to be their default go-to. So those points, those turns are unfortunate. They're not indicative. They're not indicative of the play. Idro has been playing much better. They are a much better team than that. Those scoobers over the top and hammers that they've thrown previously are fantastic. They have been breaking the actual zone wide open, and that's where they've been getting excellent movement. But a little bit unfortunate for Idro right now. But they're still amped up. They're still amped up. MOFO, though, even more amped up. Much louder overall. Lots of spectators now pacing the sideline. This is interesting. There's a lot of energy. Well, through Twitter and email, they can feedback. And I'm sure we'll build in other tools as we go along. But and that same issue is that they're just misreading or just being a little bit too nervous with the disc. And just every single over the top is squeaking through, but great take there. And down called. And a little few boos from the other sideline where some of the other juniors are watching. They're pointing to the camera. We're not going to go to the camera. Jack, please don't get involved in the play. No. The camera does not actually see all. It's just a person up there as well. And a TMF is possible here, and it has been given. So TMF, I believe, was given out there. This is going to change, possibly change the pace of the game. Great pressure. A foul called. Game might be getting a little bit more physical now. And an injury has been called. We'll take a look at that play again in post. After, in the future, I'm sure we'll all see what actually happened there, or not. Hydro scores that point. Observer's going to have a quick chat right now because the TMF was given out. We're going to see there's still ongoing discussion right now as to what actually happened in that stream. But of course, you know, if errors do happen. We have seen errors before by observers. Part of having observers is that they will make errors. And my thoughts on that will not be provided on this stream. It's not that I disagree with the Observer program. In fact, it is a good program. But they are human, and they can make mistakes, and we have to anticipate that. Because this was a second offside as well, in case you were watching at home. There was an offside there. There was an offside very early in the game as well by Hydro. So this being their second, they get it at half. There was no timeout violation or anything like that, as we discussed earlier. It just simply goes to the actual halfway mark. And they're allowed to set.
Go, MOFO!
Set up on a horizontal here. Still a good setup further down the field. There's going to be a under pressure catch here, but it's a good box out. Moves to the middle. We have deep strikes not really cycling right now. Back to the middle. Great movement to move it back to the middle, but no real breaks at this point. There's an injury, it appears, or a foul, much further up the field. And it appeared to have happened much earlier, and it appears it was his knee. He's wearing a brace already, which might mean some issues. So Hydro's taking a rest. Great spirit here by the Hydro players. As soon as there was an injury on field, they got right down on one knee each. And when someone said that they need to help him off, they were the first to attempt to run on the field. So fantastic spirit by the Hydro players here, really caring about their fellow players. This it's great to see. Great to see youth be so spirited. I don't know if we can get medical, but I think that's already been called. This tournaments have been really good overall on that front. There's a call somewhere further upfield. Hydro players are actually asking the any supporting players and teams not to boo any calls that are being made. Bill Deed. Amazing pressure there by Hydro. See if their handlers can make it work, but great adjustment there by the MOFO. Just goes up, foul called, caught, played on, but there was a pick earlier up as well, so there's our stoppage. Big shot up by Hydro. Lots of people there to grab, lots of people under the disc, but MOFO comes down with the actual disc there. Just very surprising, but amazing was that was a high release flick. Oh, and a big layout D at the other end. After a bit of a lull in the game, Hydro getting amped up again. Great to see them be able to refocus. The end zone's really spread out here, a little bit messy. Move back to the middle. Came around D, but there's a foul call. We have to sideline being a little bit muted more than normal. Going to be a quick bit of discussion here. Observers will need to be brought in to chat about this, and the two closest. Yeah. Jack, you asked him to rest? 20 minutes on and off, yeah. So we're just on the sideline right now. It's a little bit quieter in the game than it's usually been. I believe disc goes back to the thrower. The observers weren't able to make a call there. Great dump call, or disc goes way up, and disc is being called in, and it's a point. Is that a break by Hydro? I can't remember. This point's been a long one. Wow. Both teams battling incredibly hard here. Good times. Competition is fantastic. What would the score be, Dave? All right, we've got 12-10 here. We don't know what the actual score. Okay, so they have updated the official scoreboard as well. 12-10 is what we're seeing the official score as. Yeah, we have our own scorekeepers here. Scorekeepers with, I believe, master's degrees in computer science from University of Waterloo. Yeah, Dave also has scorekeeper official. You did that in Winnipeg in 2005 as well. So he knows how to keep score at the very least, and run our actual stream. Now the second half here. Sorry to come in, Dave. Poll goes up. Is MOFO still leads at 4-3. So if you have any questions or comments, please send them. Dave will keep checking up as he can, but we'll also try to answer them between the finals. Now, the women's final is supposed to happen on the actual field next to us, but we're going to try shifting it over to this field in case this game doesn't actually finish on time. Great man pressure here by Edro. They're not playing a junk zone right now. They're just playing hard one-on-one matchups. And there's a pick being called. I think with this sort of movement, it tends to happen. A lot of overlaps. The break side handler is being told not to poach as much. Oh, great play up the middle. Looked like the only option he had was a bail huck, but if he'd put it a little bit higher, he could have had options. A few drops here coming in, but doesn't look like anything serious. Great break movement there. To the middle, and it's a clean turn, but a foul is called on the throw. Foul's going to be called on the throw. Let's see what actually happens here. Observers coming in a little bit tighter. That was close. I think we were all watching the actual disc go through, so I don't know quite what happened on the actual throw, but there might have been some distance. Two observers who were directly able to see that play. There's quite a bit going on there as well, so it'll be interesting. Wind has died down now. Like, it was gusting a little bit, but it's completely gone now. Observers say that it's a turn, and MOFO gets another shot. And just not taking the easy early throws, so it's easily D'd. There's a few fundamentals of Ultimate that I've chat about, and I'll chat about those later as well. Yo. Sorry. Sorry, there was a bit of an issue with my cable being torn off of me. So just want to make sure that Dave, they able to hear me correctly? Well, it looks like it's getting through to the mixer board, so I think we're in good shape. So timeout call there. And we're looking now in the second half at a very close game and a possibly delayed start for the women's final. We'll see if we can get them onto this field, otherwise we'll be out of it. So pretty important, this point, in the overall series. We've had some interesting interactions so far in this game. Observers have been heavily involved, more so than I thought they would be. And almost everything being a contentious call going to the actual observers. Which is interesting, but that also shows you how close the match actually is. Definitely going to start to get Dave mic'd up here. Oh, hold up, Dave. Just put that on and connect that to your belt right now, and then I'll plug you in. Yes. Yep. So we're going to see what sort of hard D comes out here. And it is, but there's a little bit of a jogging play there. Yep. Looks to be in pretty good shape there. Big hug goes up. Lots of players under it. Might be a point called. Hydro players frustrated with themselves there. Dave now monitoring the play as well as the scoreboard. So I think we're going to get on double duty here, both of us. And please welcome to the commentary, Dave Hidalger.
Hello there, Tushar. Thanks for welcoming
actually,
me.
we're going to turn you up a little bit more there, Dave.
Okay. Yeah, go for it. I can hear myself, and that is good.
Perfect. All right, Dave is a little bit of a softer speaker. He is usually a much gentler guy as well.
Oh, yeah. That's I regard that as a good thing. Thank you, Tushar.
The awards now. Kevin bringing the awards here to the tent. Beside us, he's got
some red
discs.
Ooh. Say champions on them.
Champions.
As well as
Canadian Ultimate Championships. We'll try to show one on the camera shortly. But, well, you can leave it in the wrap. We don't want to wreck it. Okay. And can we see one of the medals as well, please? Hey, Jack. If you want to zoom in on us, we'll show you what's going on here. Also bring Dave in over here. Dave can show off the medal. So the winners get these.
We're not getting
you can't tilt it. Well, sorry. The game is on it now, so we'll have to.
You'll have to take our word for it now.
Yeah, you'll get to see the awards later. Sideline's getting a little bit more packed over here as well. Now, Dave, what do you think's been Hydro need to do at this point?
Really good question, Tushar. I've unfortunately been staring at the computer most of this game, but
okay. I think I'd be able to answer that. Hydro just needs to be able to calmly handle. Right now, they've been getting the turns that they need on defense, but it's the turns when they've just been handling amongst their handlers that have been the issues. MOFO has been hucking it away, which is interesting, whereas Hydro has been handling it away.
Yep.
So I think those are the two differences, and you can kind of see that the receivers have very good hands. And I've been doing a great job, as you can see by that grab. There's been very few turns by the actual downfield cutters. But
looks like it may have been foul. No.
Little bit of a D there. It's MOFO's mark is just great when it actually gets on the disc and is set. Vertical stack now set in the middle. 5 in the stack. Rife for picks. And a huck goes up. As expected. This is MOFO's Achilles heel, is the set plays. Is that they set up and they huck it away. And there's a call. There's a pick. I think we're going to have to create some more space for ourselves here in the next game.
That could be, yeah.
Dave.
Get
and
like a ladder or something.
Get a ladder, yes. We could get a ladder. If you could do commentary for a minute, I'm just going to turn you up.
Okay, yeah, sure.
No, actually, your volume's looking pretty good.
This is me doing the commentary here. As you can see, we've got some time between points here, between calls.
Jack providing us some pictures here. Another huck. Hydro catches
like
it. Is it in the end zone? It's a question. Yep. Yes, it is.
Hydro has scored a point here.
And we're looking at a 13-11 game right now. That's a pretty close game.
Yeah, Hydro's doing a great job of coming back. MOFO had scored a few more in the second half than they had, so it's excellent to see. Yeah,
it's still a 1-point differential between the two halves, and that, of course, parlays directly into the score. I don't know if the women started playing yet on the other field. I don't think they have. I think they're still warming up, getting ready. They still have 2 minutes till their game, but they might have delayed it for us. So thank you to Andrew Batchelor, who's been our competition committee.
Really tight game here. Tons of energy on the sidelines. We've got plenty of players from other teams here supporting each of their fellow cities. General strike out in full force supporting MOFO. Getting some questions here about whether or not soft cap has affect this game or not. There were rumors before about this game not being affected by the regular horns and instead being 2 hours long. That is, of course, unofficial. MOFO doing a great job of creating space here. Keeping huge green space available upfield for in-cuts. Quickly advancing a disc, and it looks like we may have another point here. Yes, the observers have called it in. Nice progression upfield. That appears to bring us to 14-11 right now. I'm actually not even sure. Are we doing a game to 15?
I believe so. It's 14-11 right now.
Yeah.
We received some feedback in the commentary, and we're going to take that to heart. We're going to let you watch the play develop a lot more, and just add a little bit more commentary here and there. Saves our voices as well.
Reasonable, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. We know a lot of our viewers like play-by-play. We have been doing a poor job of play-by-play, I think. I think it's been mostly me just mattering on.
Yeah, well, it's good to get the inside scoop from someone who knows what's going on.
Indeed. So Ken moving the play along here because it wasn't actually a timeout. So they want to make sure that they get on here. Now, because it is a game to 15, this is game point for MOFO. And Hydro is back at 11.
Yep.
Here we go, David. It's do or die now.
Yep, the energy is huge here.
Actually, I'm going to go over to your right because you're commentator number 1, so your cables are actually over on the left. We've got to go to a wireless system, I think.
I hear you. Cables, don't want to cross cables.
Oh, yes. If you heard the horn go, the horn doesn't actually matter in this game. It's slightly different rules for finals. MOFO's trap on the sidelines have worked well. And it's the same thing. It's these rushed little hander passes that have caused some issues. Having a little bit of trouble moving around, but they should be able to get into the mids right now.
Oh.
But just great anticipation.
Big defensive
And
bid
speed.
there.
Pardon me, Dave?
Big defensive bid there, getting the turnover. This could be the game.
I mean, he was tracking that play the whole way through, and just at the last moment to have that layout bid and just mack it, what, 10 meters out of bound as well after that.
Getting the crowd involved.
This is a championship point right here. I'm going to go watch it on the stream.
Looks like it. The observer calls it in. That will be game. MOFO 15, Hydro 11.
Congratulations, Dave. MOFO are the 2012 Junior Open champions.
Yeah, that was quite the game. The energy was right up there. Plenty of people on the sidelines cheering them on.
I think it got a little bit chippy. Is my concern is that the pace really dropped off at some point and didn't get going. It became a little bit of a grind.
Right.
I think we're going to see that again in the juniors women's game. We've seen a lot more turnovers in that one, but great game played by both teams here. If we look at whatever rudimentary stats we do have, and you'll see that on your screen as well. First half, MOFO 8-7. Second half, they really led off and went 7-4. That's a big differential. I think the big difference was their zone.
Yeah, definitely.
It seemed that a lot of their turns came from that zone just based on pressure and a lot of movements. And really making that move.
Yeah, Hydro moved it around well in their zone, but they never really, at least in the last couple points, made a lot of upfield progress against the zone.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was, is when they took their risks, it was unfortunately paid for it almost immediately. They had a few drops just on easier swing passes than it should have been. And it's unfortunate for Hydro, but MOFO, fantastically well-played game. And congratulations to Winnipeg.
So if we do have some feedback, if people are interested in giving some feedback to us, what's the best way of doing that?
Thank you for asking, Dave. We're just going to put up our contact information on the screen. You can email us live@imultimate.com, or you can contact us on Twitter at @IamUltimate. And what we're going to do is that we're just going to make that a little bit easier to read for you. And hopefully you get in touch with us. We've already had some piece of feedback, and yes, we do take that to heart. That is pretty good feedback for us. Actually, I'm going to make it even easier to read if I can for all of you. We are refining the process as we go along. And that, of course, means that bit by bit, we will get better. So there you go. You can email us live@imultimate.com or on Twitter @imultimate. There's already been a lot of feedback. We're going to talk about the juniors women's shortly, because that is our next match. We're also going to try to get updates of the Masters finals and pass them on to you. Big day for a Masters division as well. And we'll bring that to you shortly. Right now, we're just going to take a little bit of a breather as juniors women's comes up next. We'd also at this time like to thank our sponsors, VC Ultimate, Q Energy, Caribou Brand Development, and Discraft. This is an Ultimate Canada event, so thank you to Ultimate Canada for organizing as part of that, as well as the organizing committee here in Victoria. It's just been fantastic to play here and have that event. And this is an I Am Ultimate broadcast, so we hope you keep watching. But coming up next, the junior women's final.